And this is how all my art is, you know. They're not all about the brain, but they are a representation of either sacred geometry, sacred symbol, occultic knowledge. That's what my art is teaching. Every single one of my art is not designed to be worshiping. It is designed for knowledge. The arts are for knowledge. Okay. Everything the Igbo man used to beautify himself, to make himself become way better than you. Everything that made a Igbo man, and everything that made you open mouth and call a Igbo man Abara is from our brain. And the reason why we, as in this shoji today, they don't see themselves as Abara because they don't know the inner workings of the mind. You understand? So I give this, I dish out this knowledge for my people for free because it belongs to us. The knowledge belongs to us, but it was hidden. The Igbo man used it to enslave our people, initiate them into different secret societies, using them to do their bidding. This my series on Eke Honor. I want to use it to help you guys understand and understand how my art work, how the basically it is me demystifying my art in order for the layman to have a better understanding. And the reason why I had to do this is because of so much ignorance that has been floating around. So many ignorant things, so many ignorant stuff. So the ignorance is too much. So I have to just give you guys, just show a little bit of glimpse of how deep my art is. Okay, based on. So I decided to demystify this one of this specific art, so that you guys can be able to get a clear understanding in like to so like when you see a Sirius Ugo Art, you have an idea of what it actually represents. All of them are not a representation of the human brain. They are a representation of different aspects of nature. You cannot be able to understand Sirius Ugo Art with like Anya Nkiti, Anya Ndenkiti. You cannot be able to understand my work with Anya Ndiolano. You have to have your pineal gland, you have to have your pineal gland uncalcified before you can be able to get it. And I'm also doing this to be able to show you guys that the things. So when a human being sees things, they think that what they're looking at is exactly what it is, but it's really not. So for you to understand the art, you have to be enlightened. You have to have the knowledge of self. You have to because all the things I've been teaching you guys. I'm just basically setting an example of how to understand my work and how to understand the universe and how to understand the purpose of spirituality, what the whole thing is all about. This art is basically the series that I've been working on called Ekona, which is Ekona is the treasure swallowing python. Okay, Ekona is also the one that vomited Eke Olia Afo Nkwo, which is the four elements of the universe. So Ekona is a representation of the physical universe, which handles the basic natures, the basic reality, so Ekona is treasure. Okay, so Ekona is the treasure swallowing python, or it is also the Draco constellation in Igbo spirituality and Igbo astronomy. It is the Draco constellation. Okay, the Draco constellation. Draco means harsh or serpent, and it is connected to, like, when you hear the term like draconic, something that is draconic is something that is harsh. And all of these things are connected to uh, what we are, what the physical existence is, what physical matter is, what the physical universe are about. Ekona is the custodian of the physical. The treasure swallowing python is the custodian of the physical universe, the physical, all that which is physical. Okay, which includes the Milky Way, everything. Okay, because Ekona is the oldest part of the brain. Okay, but in this art is basically a representation of the human brain. Okay, the relationship between the neocortex and the brainstem. So what did I do? I used various Igbo symbols such as the elephant talks, which is Okika, and the moon, the Sirius star system, the Sirius Udu, Udu, and as you can see, and also the Omonko, which is Omo comes from Unko. So Unko is a representation of the tree of life, and the arbor vitae within the brain is shaped like that's literally what it means in Latin is tree of life. So arbor vitae is tree of life. The cerebellum means small brain. Obelo Boro. You understand? You see how I named the pituitary gland, like they say that it causes like imi putamadini, like that's what causes it. But in this art, I had like the dragon, licking it. It's an expression of like what Ekona is a representation. It is such a base aspect of nature. So like you have like the Ekona sort of like licking the pituitary gland. Okay, it's in the art. So if you notice, if you zoom in, you see like the thing that looks like imi or water or whatever. It's like licking it. It's like as if it's trying to like transmit it into the pons, which is the brain pons is like the bridge of the brain, which the bridge of the brain is transmitting communication between the left and the right hemisphere. So I used Udu. So the Akwamiri represents this water structure because that's actually what the pond represents, and that's what a bridge is. A bridge is like a water structure, a waterway, a water pond, a bridge is in order to walk past. So that's like how so I used Udu to represent that, because Udu is also a representation of feminine power, and it's also a very vital. It plays a very vital role in the brainstem. Okay, so if you guys notice in the art too that the pineal gland, which is Osara, Osara is a pineal gland in Igbo. Okay, and I've also taught you guys many things about the pineal gland. I told you guys that it is part of. Notice that it is at the back of the brainstem. It is at the back of the Isiaka corner. It is at the back. It is behind it, and it is not connected to the brainstem, but it is close to it. Ono and so, but it's not connected. They don't work together. But ono and so that's the pineal gland. Third eye. So that light over there is representing Sirius. It represents the Sirius star system, specifically Sirius A, which represents as also the pineal gland can also be classified, since it's Sirius, is classified as Ose Otule in Alpha as well. So which is representing euphoria, happiness. So the phonics is an arch. Is arch in Igbo, like is like someone that is like a hunchback, someone that is arched, and a back that is arched. So the Igbo word for arch is or vault. Okay, see that these things, it looks easy when I do these things. It looks easy, but it took me a while to put all these things together. It took me a while. All the while I was teaching you guys. All the while I was doing the lectures on the brainstem, I was creating all these things. That's how I usually create my arts and stuff. But the thalamus, which I call Imakwa. The thalamus is Imakwa. Okay, thalamus in Latin or Greek actually means inner chamber or bedroom. Okay, inner chamber or bedroom. That's what thalamus means, and it is that thalamus, which means inner chamber or bedroom in Latin. It's actually a representation of the emotion. Which is what the moon does. The moon controls and governs our emotion, and the moon is a representation of the inner self. Like your moon sign in astrology, your moon sign represents your inner, your deepest self, your ima aqua. You understand? Your inner chamber. Okay, that's what the moon represents. So that's what the emotion, and it is part of the limbic system, which controls our emotion, and also the sexual. And like when the full moon comes out, you say, people they get. So the limbic system controls the sexual energy and also the emotion, the motion. It also controls the body, a lot of things about the motion of a human being, right? So I use the moon for it because that's the symbol. The moon, that's what causes sin. The moon god, sin. Okay, the sin. And I told you guys the moon represents sin. Sin, in the Bible, whenever they mention sin, committing sin is being emotional, being extremely emotional, being governed by your emotion. When you are in sin, is when you are being governed by your emotion, which is the thalamus, which I named Imakwa, which also means bedroom, which is also connected to the inner chamber, Imakwa. Basically, Akwo Okara. Obindi Ime, the inner chamber, as you can call it the ancestral realm, or just going deeper into the thalamus, the chambers of the thalamus, the moon structure. The moon controls the emotion of our emotion. Okay, that's what the moon does. Okay, so you see the moon right over there as Imakwa. So the neocortex, neo means new. New. Okay, cortex bo ano. Okay, cortex is ano aho. Okay, the new cortex is I call it ano aho ohoro. Okay, your new self, your new self. When you the new self that changes and become a new version. When people say, I am in my new self, my new version, my advanced version. So the neocortex, which I use the Milky Way, the entire Milky Way in the universe, is a representation of your new self, having a universal mind. The universal mind is also a representation of the neocortex, which is universal mind, Buchagu. You understand? That is your higher self, your higher brain form, when you are not stuck on the old ways, when you're not stuck on your village people and your village, when you're not stuck over there. That means because the brainstem represents religion, the old self. Religion is that no new self, and that's what our people have been stuck on. Our people have been stuck in a corner, the old self. You understand? And there's no advancement because there's no new self, which is the neocortex. You understand? The advanced state, which is having uchagu, universal mind. In Igbo cosmology said that Chukwu gave Agu, Chukwu crowned Agu Ishioha. Agu became Ishioha, which is the universal mind, the head of all, the universal mind. Because Agu demystified the Korea Fonko. So Chukwu crowned Agu to be Ishioha. You understand? So that's how these things, you see, this one art, you see all the things that one art is explaining. You understand? Then this is how all my art is. They're not all about the brain, but they are a representation of either sacred geometry, sacred symbol, occultic knowledge. That's what my art is teaching. Every single one of my art is not designed to be worshiping. It is designed for knowledge. The arts are for knowledge. Okay. The corpus callosum, the corpus callosum in Latin means tough body. So I call it ahuike. You see. So if for like most of these things, like when you hear it in the medical sense, if you're not hey, what these terms are they're from Latin. But they stole this knowledge from Africa. They stole it from Kemet. The Romans stole this knowledge from Kemet. First of all, it traces back to the Greeks. Then the Greeks stole it from Kemet. You understand? And Kemet, who are the Kemet? Kemet is the head of Africa. Kemet be Shindi Shoji. Kemet is our head. You understand? So the corpus callosum, which means tough body, in Igbo, can be tough body, ahishirike. Tough body, but ahishirike or ahike. Okay, so I used Elephant talks because it looks like an elephant talks. It looks just like an elephant talks. Okay, it looks the arch, just like I called the phonics. You know, phonics means arch, and the corpus callosum and the phonics are just right next to each other, and they look just like So it's called tough body because the corpus callosum actually plays a major role in the body function. As a human being. It's very tough. It's tough because it's doing a lot of things. It's like when you are holding the elephant talks, okay, guys, it's tough. It looks hard in the hand. And if you want to the place I called medulla oblongata is basically medulla of marrow, something that is marrow, which is yedumi, and oblongata bietolo ogonogo, which is ogonogo. See, so with that's why I know Igbo, I say medulla oblongata. It's in a house, we might not know Latin. It's just a Latin term. You understand? And the spinal cord is just wazo. And pythons do have a spinal cord. They do have a spinal cord, just like every other. Just that their own is very, very flexible. The art is an embodiment of the brain. Okay, and the little message I put up at the very bottom is that we are one and the same with the universe, and maybe the universe name. See, you have to understand this. You have to know this, that we are one and the same with the universe. Look at the universe now. These are information hidden from the masses for centuries now. Okay. You understand? These are the things that they teach in the Red Lodge, in Freemasonry, the Red Lodge, which is the advanced version of the Blue Lodge Mason. See, this knowledge that I give to you guys for free in this group, people get initiated and pay a whole lot of money to learn it. People, they get initiated and pay a whole lot of money to get this knowledge. But you guys, you all get it for free. Many people have seen the Masonic tracing board, but they don't know what they represent. But the Masonic tracing board represents the human brain, the higher self and the lower nature and the higher nature, the lower self and the higher self, the brainstem and the neocortex. The inner workings of the mind. That's what the Masonic tracing boards represents. All of them. They'll tell you that it is the Solomon's Temple. In the Blue Lodge, they call it the Solomon's Temple. In the Red Lodge, they call it the human brain. See, that's how the esoteric information move up. Depending on the level you get to, the level you rise up to, the more you rise, they expose more knowledge to you. I know many of you are wondering, Ugoebenaja, so are you a even when I did the secret teachings of Ugoebenaja, which is over 2-hour video presentation, some people accused me of being a Mason. Hiram Abiff, esoterically, is high ram above. High ram above. Okay, that is the esoteric meaning of Hiram Abiff. It is the high ram above. What are we talking about? We're talking about Aries. And Hiram Abiff is connected to the spring equinox. Okay, I'm giving you guys the esoteric information. Hiram Abiff is connected to the spring equinox, which starts around March 22nd. That is the first day of Aries. Ikenga, Ebuneji Jog, the ram. Aries, the ram. Spring equinox, when it rises. So the beginning. All right? Just like the Entered Apprentice is the beginning. So the Hiram Abiff is a representation of the spring equinox. Okay? Okay, that's what it represents. The Solomon temple that the Hiram Abiff is building, esoterically, Solomon is the Sol and Moon. That is sun and moon. It is a representation of that twin pillar. Hiram Abiff is building the twin pillar. Okay? Hiram Abiff is the neocortex. The neocortex. If you look at the neocortex is shaped like Mpikenga. It is shaped like the ram's horn. And it's also shaped like a ram's hair. Okay? The neocortex is basically the shape of Uvurishi Mado. Basically, the crown of life, the crown chakra, Uweze Mado.
That is the neocortex, okay?
I am not a Mason. I am just a proof that you don't need to be a Mason to have infinite knowledge. You don't need to be a Mason to have sacred knowledge. You don't need to be on that oath. Hermetica originated from Kemet. Kabbalah originated from Kemet. You know, number mysticism, all of these things, the inner workings of the mind, they all originated from Africa. And what is Kemet? Kemet is our head. Kemet is our higher self. Kemet is the higher self of Africans. We are the source of it. We are the root of it. I am the source of it. We are the ones that created. We are its heart. We are the heart of Kemet. I am its house, its soul, its beginning. You know, that's what we represent. And the brain is Kemet. The brain is Kemet. Do you understand? So the Oyibo man up to today, till 2025, the Oyibo man is still digging our brain, trying to find more info. You know, the Oyibo man is from our brain. Everything the Oyibo man used to beautify himself, to make himself become way better than you. Everything that made Oyibo man, and everything that made you open mouth and call Oyibo man Abara is from our brain. And the reason why we, as in this shoji today, they don't see themselves as Abara because they don't know the inner workings of the mind. You understand? So I give this, I dish out this knowledge for my people for free because it belongs to us. The knowledge belongs to us, but it was hidden. The Igbo man used it to enslave our people, initiate them into different secret societies, using them to do their bidding. And one no in Ugoebenaja secret cult, Nimeba. You understand? This knowledge I push out, it goes everywhere. People share it everywhere. And one say, you know, come, let me initiate you into something before I reveal something to you. You know, I never said that to anybody. And I'm pretty sure then one day there are people that are stealing my knowledge and using it they are stealing it, using it to create all kinds of things. But you know, Ugu, because everything I speak on, everything I do, all my lectures, I could know for. You know, so my information, anyone that uses my knowledge, the knowledge I dish out to my people to imprison the minds of our people, that person this knowledge to scam our people. If you use this knowledge to scam our people, I dish out this knowledge for my people to be free, for our people to be free, not for them to be imprisoned, because our people are imprisoned. So this knowledge is for them to be free, for them to generate a universal mind, to explore the universe, for them to know, for a boy and an adult to know, I can really achieve that thing I'm trying to achieve. There is really nothing holding me back from achieving what I'm trying to achieve. There's absolutely nothing holding me back. You understand? We don't undo.